I still don't understand why people give you candy for scaring them. It's Halloween. It's a holiday. We're talking Lazer Tag Academy. Hit it. It was 1986. Paul Simon released Graceland, James Cameron directed Aliens, and the Jarens traveled through time on Halloween. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas. Halloween, the podcast that talks all things Halloween in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Halloween in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me is a Totally Rad Christmas All-Star and Ratty winner. You'll know him from Tis the Soundtrack. It's Kevin Williams. Kevin, how's it going?
Going good. How about you, Jerry?
You know, I'm just enjoying the spooky season now. It's pretty nice. It's not quite as hot, and so I like that.
Nice.
How is it over there for y'all?
Not bad. We did a bunch of remodeling around the yard this year. So one of the things we
Oh,
did was we had a big laurel hedge that was 30 feet long and about 15 feet high, which did a great job of blocking our not so great previous neighbors.
right,
But we have some nice neighbors now and don't need a giant hedge we have to maintain. So
right.
it all came down at the beginning of the summer and it was turned into a big pumpkin patch, which is
Oh,
just about ready when folks are hearing this.
that's awesome. Amazing. Do your kids know what they want to be for Halloween yet? My kids still don't know.
No, my son he's 13 now, and so he's at that age
Right,
where
right.
the best costume is that low effort. I threw it together 2 minutes before I went out the door. So last year it was a scream mask and a plastic knife, and I'm
Mm,
sure it will be something along that line this year. My daughter, on the other hand, goes full costume.
right.
It's an opportunity for her to buy a new outfit. So she was one of the Sanderson sisters last year, and
Oh,
I think she's
okay.
been Descendants characters a couple of years before that. So she's just amassing a wardrobe out of Halloween.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, my son wanted to do Stitch, and then he was like, no,
Oh,
and then he was thinking about something Lego inspired, and so and I'm like, dude, come on, we're getting closer and closer. You gotta pick something. Well, it's good to see you again. Now we're here to talk laser tag. Before we do that, just like Carol Kane did to Bill Murray and Scrooged, I want you to hit me with the toaster. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and I want you to hit me with the first answer you can think of. So, who would win in a fight? Animal from the Muppets or one of the Skuggs?
oh, animal. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, Animal's pretty awesome. He's tough. All right, I like that. I like that. Okay, let's say that Draxon Drear was the Grinch. Which 80s cartoon character would be his Cindy Lou Who?
Draxon Drear is the Grinch, and we need a Cindy Lou Who from the 80s. So I think I want to go kind of with Skug theme, and we would pick one of the sprites from Rainbow Bright.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
I'm spacing all their names except for Twink. I think was the main one, but
right.
one of the other smaller ones from there. I think you gotta. That's kind of Skuggish. I think it would be on brand for it.
All right, I like that too. And finally, would you rather fight Drear from Laser Tag or the Warlord of R from Photon?
I would rather fight Dreer because I think I have a better chance of winning. That guy does not run a
Agreed.
tight ship.
Yeah, he's more of a buffoon, and he's really
Yeah.
not, but he more compared to the Warlord, I think he definitely is a little more buffoonish and
He is very trusting of the Skuggs, which usually, we'll probably get to this later, but he's a very typical 80s villain with over elaborate plots on how he's going to accomplish his goal. But a
yeah,
linchpin to all of those is usually the Skuggs have to do something, and they're not great at execution. And so
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I like that. Well, that's just a way for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. So thank you for that.
no
Now,
problem. I was just gonna say before we move on,
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
so this is just a little peek behind the psyche that makes up me.
All
So
right.
the hit me with the toaster. It's supposed to be spontaneous, but I will
Yes.
tell you that every time I'm getting prepared to come on here, I've done it a few times now.
Right.
Um, the 2 or 3 days running up to when we record, I am completely freaking out about what you're going to throw at me along with the toaster. So I do my homework. I go back. I re-listen to the intros of like your last 10 episodes. I
Oh,
come up with
wow.
my own list of questions. I'm trying to get inside the mind of Jerry D. And
Okay.
without fail, I am completely wrong every single time. So the three questions you just asked me were not on my radar at all. I came up with a list of 10 and
Wow. All
they
right.
were way different. So I was going to ask you, do you mind if I throw the toaster back at you
Yeah, go
and
for it. Go
pick a
for it.
couple off from we'll pick a couple off from my list and see what you
Okay.
think.
Sure. Yeah.
So mine was similar to your last one. My question was, it's the year 3010.
Okay.
Jamie's doing her thing. What 80s character stands a chance to beat her in the laser tag arena?
Well, I mean, it would have to be a good sharpshooter, someone that's very agile. So I figured Goose from
Oh,
Galaxy Rangers
yep,
that we talked about would probably
yep.
stand a chance. I think Snake Eyes could probably do it also, just with his ninja, movements, and he's pretty nimble. So I might go with one of those two, honestly.
Nice. I lost at my own question because immediately I was along the same thought as you, but immediately my mind went to Matt Quigley, Tom Selleck, Quigley Down Under. So I had to look it up, and
Oh
it was
no.
1990. So we missed it.
We don't speak of Quigley Down Under.
No,
No,
is that
I'm just kidding. It's an okay movie. It's not bad.
And then I'll give you another one here. So
Yeah.
it's Halloween.
Okay.
Jamie is experiencing her first Halloween and trick or treating.
Yeah.
What candy does she get the most excited about?
Ooh, that is a tough one because they don't, I mean, it's like a perfect utopia, and
Right.
I don't recall them really having candy. You know what? She seems like a Twizzlers girl.
She seems
I,
like a
I,
Twizzlers
I
girl.
don't know why. I'm just getting Twizzlers vibes from her.
Nice. My thought was, do you remember Astro Pops?
I
The
do.
like sucker?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for folks who don't know, it was kind of like a cross between I don't know, like a candy cane and a ring pop. So it was
Yeah.
a sucker that like was cone shaped like a sword, and if you did the candy cane thing with them, you could get them like very pointy and then harass your siblings with them. And so,
You could
but
shiv somebody.
yeah, but yeah, it has Astro in the name. It's kind of futuristic looking. It's kind of shiny and see through. I went with that.
That's cool. That's cool. And I honestly don't have a good answer. I just, for some reason, I picture her and I see Twizzlers
That
that's,
works.
yeah. Well,
Anyway,
tonight, speaking of Jamie, we're here to talk about laser tag and specifically Lazer Tag Academy.
1,000 years from now, a perfect world. Laser tag champion Jamie Jaren is the sole possessor of Starlyte power. Until the resurrection of a master criminal from the past, Draxon Drear.
What do you remember about laser tag in general, and what do you remember about this show, Lazer Tag Academy?
oh, so I had a ton of laser tag when I was little. So we didn't get laser tag when it first came out in like 86, 87. We got laser tag in like 88, 89 when it was being clearanced out at the KG Toys.
Oh,
And so,
right.
So about a year or two after it was cool, that's when a bunch of it showed up at our house. So we had the vests with the star sensors, we had the guns, we had one of the helmets, we had one of the baseball caps with the little sensor on the top.
That's cool.
We had a couple of the, I don't know what you'd call them, like bandoliers. It was kind of like a chest. It wasn't the full vest, but it was like a chest harness.
Oh, right,
Little
right.
Velcro
Yeah.
thing that the thing stuck to. And then we had one of the bases, which was really cool. So it was like this tripod thing that sat on the ground with a dome, and it had a bunch of buttons on it, and you could set different modes, and it would just fire at you. and you like shot at it, and it would keep track of how many times you hit it, and depending on the mode you put it in, it would like put shields up where it was invincible, and then you'd like sit there and put your hands over your sensors so it couldn't shoot you for a while because you cheated. And then when the shields went down, you shot at it
Cheater.
again.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's part of the game.
Yep. That's yeah. The game with my brothers. The game was as soon as you hear someone's gunfire, you're covering your sensor because you don't want hit.
Right.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And then the show, I didn't see it until it came out on home video, like a couple years after it came out. So
Right.
we had a VHS that was called Lazer Tag Academy, the movie, and it was just I think the first 3 or 4 episodes edited down into a show.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
had another one that we got somewhere that was just one of the episodes. It was the one with a similar theme to the one we're talking about, where they go back to Gettysburg, and it's another plot to stop people from getting married and having offspring and stopping the Jarens.
Right. Right.
But those were like the only 5 I'd seen. So until you sent me this, I hadn't watched this episode. I didn't know there was a Halloween episode.
Well, I searched and searched for a Christmas episode, and there's
Nope.
not. So I thought, well, I always do Halloween around October anyway. So let's go ahead and hit the Halloween angle. I did not have laser tag. I wanted it so bad. It looked so cool. I remember the cartoon, although I didn't watch it a lot because like Jamie Jaren, the main character really is a girl. And when I was a little boy, I was like, I don't want to see a show with a girl lead, which, thinking back about it now, I was like, oh, that's terrible. But at the time, I always imagined myself in the role of like the main character. So
yeah.
I was like, well, I don't want to be Tom. And so I couldn't picture myself like that. And so I missed out on a fun show. It's just a little fun. I mean, it's silly, but also it's kind of cool. And I wish I had done it. But I did have friends that had laser tag. So whenever I'd go to their house, we would play. And I don't think he had the base. I think it was just those straps that you talked about with the star sensor on it and some of the guns. And I think he had one helmet, so I never got to wear the helmet.
On my signal, begin.
Laser Tag, the game that moves at the speed of light. From Worlds of Wonder Stadium not included.
I mean, that's cool. It was a cool look. I remember the Garbage Pail Kids. It was like Series 7 or Series 8, I think, maybe even a little higher. But they had a guy named Laser Ray. That was one of them. And he was like laser tagged out, a kid with laser tag, but he was like smoking because he had caught fire or something. So, it was really cool. It was a sleek look. Photon, which was like its counterpart, just didn't look as cool. And their show was live action, and it just wasn't as neat,
Yeah, so we ended up with a Photon set too, and it was like a 2-player box, but it came after we got it after laser tag, so I don't know if it came from like a garage sale or a hand-me-down or something, but
right.
It was never as fun because like the chess piece was bigger in this big square, and you had to plug your gun into it, so you had like a little like tether, and the helmet was like bigger and had a visor that as soon as you're out playing with it, things get scratched up and foggy. And it was, we didn't go for the Photon too much, but we always went for the laser tag. And because because we had the toys first, when the show did come out on VHS, it was cool because the characters in the show, like Jamie, and then in the episodes with Tom too, the costumes they're wearing match all the gear that we had in the Rubbermaid tub at home. And so that was super cool.
Yeah, it was really neat the way they tied it. I mean, of course, a lot of the 80s, we talked about this before, they really do tie-ins. Most of them are just commercials to sell the toys. So you can understand how this one got made, but they kept pretty close to the look. It was pretty accurate, and so I did appreciate that as well. But I do have a question. What can't this gun do? So it's the only thing it can't do is affect, like, I guess, organic, or not organic matter, but like real people. I think even in this episode, she says it doesn't work on real people.
Yeah, so that's the lore they establish is you can't use the gun to harm a person.
Right. Right.
But as we're going to talk about in the episode, you can use it on other living things, just not humans, and it seems to work just fine.
And
Uh,
if they're holding a thing, you can use
yeah,
it on the thing and affect
yeah,
them that way as well.
yeah. It's yeah. So I mean, even in this episode, yeah, it can levitate things, it can blast
Yep.
holes in things, it
Yes.
can retrieve things, it can repel things, it can cause other things to, I don't know, move themselves.
Yep.
Even in the intro, you see like the
And it can
little
transport you through time. Sorry,
and
as
well,
well.
yes, and it can transport you through time with the sensor. Yeah. But yeah, even in the little show intro for every episode, you see a Drear like take out a bridge for a like a train or a monorail with it, and so it can also disappear matter. And then Jamie runs through and reforms a bridge out of ice, which apparently you can do that too.
Which makes me wonder, well,
Yeah.
where did that matter go? Because,
Right. Yeah.
matter can it can't be, created or destroyed. So what happened? Where did it come from? Yeah, anyway, but so it was really cool. I remember thinking like, wow, this gun can do just about anything. And I thought it was just lasers the whole time. So there's that. The whole point of the show was to capitalize on the laser tag fad, particularly that of the laser tag by World of Wonder. I've already gotten into the history of World of Wonder on our Teddy Ruxpin episode, so I won't go too much into it now. But basically, these two guys from Atari started World of Wonder, and they saw this laser tag fad and really, because it had existed prior, they just really capitalized it. And something about changing the S to a Z and the word laser just made it way cooler.
Well, and I assume that was just a clever way to get around copyright too, because if laser tag was already an established, because I think Photon, before they had the home set, they actually built a commercial product that was used at like laser tag arcades,
Right,
and
right.
the home set was modeled off from that. So yeah, I think yeah, the Z obviously makes laser cooler. Z's make anything cooler, but it's probably a
That's right.
clever sidestep around the name usage also.
Yeah, you're right. But even just the logo,
Oh yeah.
it's in those letters. They're kind of blocky, but I'm sure there's a font people are yelling at me now, like about. But I don't know the exact name. I'm sorry, but they do the thing where the kerning is such that parts of the letters they are overlap, I guess, if you want to
Yep.
say it that way. They intertwine, so the middle bar from the E becomes like the bar from the R. At the bottom, the A joins to the Z, and there's one big long bar all the way through the bottom of the E. And it's really cool. It's in that classic 80s chrome
Yep.
gradient, and then tag is in like the script that you normally get in the 80s as well. And it's just a really, really awesome look.
Yeah, it
Now,
tells you you're about to see something futuristic. It was that
exactly.
80s that yeah, I'm
That's how
spacing
you
the name
do.
for
Yeah.
it, that whatever they call it, neon something. I don't have it.
Like tech noir, if you want to
Yeah.
call it from from the Terminator. But Don Kingsborough, head of Worlds of Wonder, really had a hand in this. And I mean, they kind of leveraged laser tag to get Nintendo, like laser tag and
Yeah.
Teddy Ruxpin, they used that to get Nintendo distributed in the US. And
Would
then tragedy struck, and a cop accidentally shot a kid. There were some kids that were playing with laser tag because neighbors called and were like, "Hey, there's these kids pointing guns at each other," and he couldn't tell that it was a fake gun, and that pretty much just crashed Worlds of Wonder, and the show was canceled almost immediately.
Yeah, they did come out with like a bigger like rifle after
Oh,
that
right,
happened, and it was repainted white,
right.
so it wouldn't look like a real firearm because of that. But at that point, it was already where that's when we were picking them up on clearance from KB. So
Exactly.
it's
By that time, yeah, it was too
yeah,
late. So this was Ruby Spears, which again I've talked on the show many times before. Ran on NBC, excuse me, from September 13th through December 6th of 1986. Ran for the classic 13 episodes that most Saturday morning cartoon seasons were. And we're going to be talking specifically about an episode called the Olanga Story, and we'll get into it. But the main premise of the show was that it's the year 3010, and there's a utopia essentially. Like there's no crime, all the stuff that villains like is just not around, and laser tag is a cool competitive sport. And there is a particular girl, Jamie Jaren, who's studying at this Laser Tag Academy, who actually can control the Starlyte. It's something about it obeys her command better than than some of the others. And as we'll see, it's because she's descended from Beth Jaren, who was the inventor of this particular device. But we also, because it's a good show and you got to have a villain, we get a villain from 2061, Draxon Drear, this like super criminal who inadvertently got frozen and thawed out in 3010, finds out about the power, finds out he's actually also related to this Beth Jaren, and decides he's going to mess with time and try to eliminate the Jarens for reasons, even though he might cease to exist, Marty McFly style, sometime. So
Yeah. So there, when you were talking earlier about the depth of the tie-in, so like you said, in the lore of the show, Beth, ancestor of Jamie, created the Starlyte, or created, spawned Lazer Tag. I
right.
can't remember if it was the back of the VHS tape, or there were these little pack-ins that came with the toys that had the characters from the series that like talked about it. And
Oh,
they go
cool.
like a step deeper there, and they say that, this laser tag toy that you have, the sport toy phenomenon of, the 1980s, is what, becomes the most popular sport in the universe 1,000 years. And so they also tie it to the physical toy, that what you're playing with is the thing that Beth created, and that it just became so hugely popular that I think the phrase they used was, it led scientists to laser technology breakthroughs never dreamed of by their 20th century counterparts, or something like that. And so
Cool.
as the 8-year-old kid holding this thing, you're like, oh, cool, I'm holding the thing that turns into a real laser in 1,000 years.
Which I have to commend them for setting it a
Yeah.
1,000 years rather than just 100 years in the
Right.
future. Because as we
Yep.
talked about in Galaxy Rangers, that was, what was it,
Yeah.
2086? And we are
Yep.
nowhere near that level of
Nowhere near the
technology.
hyperdrive yet.
Yeah. So at least 1,000 years. That's cool. Yeah. So that's like the basic premise.
Yeah.
Draxon Drear goes through time. Jamie goes back to try to stop him, runs into Beth and her brothers Tommy and Nikki, and all the kids and her try and Nikki's like a small boy. He's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They go on adventures trying to stop their distant relative or descendant from killing them and erasing them from history. So that's
Yeah, and
it's great.
and you hit on this a second ago, but this was one of the problems I always had with the small number of episodes I saw, because they established that plot point super quick.
Yeah,
But
right.
but Draxon Drear, also descendant from Beth, so stands to reason if he's trying to kill the Jarens to prevent Jamie from existing and prevent this from happening, he's going to wipe himself out. So you have a perfect in canon plot point for why he has to go through these elaborate villain schemes, and
Right.
why he can't just kill the kids, right? That is like baked into your story from the get-go, and so you don't even have to explain it away, but still every episode he's trying to kill them, and through his bumbling or the bumbling of his henchmen, fails to accomplish it.
Which-
So they
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so they had it right in their lap and just didn't go for it.
It's an interesting premise because depending on which theory you believe, he wouldn't be erased. It might create just an alternate universe
Sure.
that he goes back to. He could still alter the past, but not alter the future. I mean, there's like a lot of different things that could happen, but also like, why take the chance?
Right, yeah,
Like
it's-
at that point, that's a chance that a big chance you're taking. I would just instead just focus on your criminal career, or go to the past and focus on your criminal career there. Why complicate it, guy?
Yeah, just go in the past, place your buy your stocks, just
Yeah.
pop into the future and wait, and be the
All of a sudden you're
wealthiest
mega
criminal in the
rich.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And the other thing is that there are these genetically engineered creatures called the Skuggs that were designed to at first help mankind, but I guess it didn't quite work out. And then Drear found them and turned them, or controlled them, I should say. They turned them to his will. So he has these weird ape werewolf looking things.
Yeah, Animal from the Muppets is not far off. It's
Right. That's why I picked him.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, he's kind of Skuggish.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
the
there's these creatures that obey his command that are about as tall as hobbits, but have big furry faces and fangs, and Yeah.
Yeah. So the Skuggs are the reason I got super excited and asked to come on and do this episode with you when you were putting out the all call. So I don't think we've talked about it on air, but way back last year about this time when we did the Lollipop Dragon episode,
Yes.
I think I told you off camera or messaged you beforehand that the Lollipop Dragon is one of 4 recurring childhood nightmares that haunted me through, my early
Right.
years.
You did say
And
that.
it was, and it was not the Christmas Lollipop Dragon, but the regular movie ends with Baron Badblood in his crazy roadster chasing everyone into the Forest of Mirrors, and he gets turned into a mirror tree. And so that was the nightmare I had, is we would be, out shopping at the mall or whatever, and we'd walk outside, and there he'd be in his roadster chasing us, and you either got ran down in the dream or you made it into the Forest of Mirrors and it stopped him. But I mentioned that there were 3 other ones, and I forgot to say it on air during the Gremlins episode, because that was nightmare number 2, was walking upstairs to my parents' bedroom or one of my brother's bedrooms and finding the cocoon, opened up,
Oh, no.
and knowing there's a gremlin in the house somewhere, and then trying to collect my family members and get out. And number 3 are the Skuggs. So I mentioned that I had the Lazer Tag Academy, the movie, the second episode of the series, but it's stitched into that movie also. Yeah, the plot is people are turning into Skuggs. And they have to stop them and revert them back. And so that was the nightmare I had, is I would be in my house and, go up to check on one of my little brothers, and he's a Skugg. And I've got to race through our house and find my other family members and stop them from turning into Skuggs. And, classic childhood horror, there would be grandma sitting down in her, chair by the fireplace, and I got to grandma on time. I just need to get her out of the house, and nope, Skugg in a wig, and you'd have to run away from that. And so
it's very Norman Bates.
Right, yeah. And so that nightmare would always end with me realizing that my entire family member has been turned into Skuggs, but unlike the Jarens, I have no way to turn them back. So the best I can do is zap them with the Starlyte and just send them through time to somewhere else. And so, yeah, that's heavy as a 9-year-old kid, that you just, I guess I'm going to live on my own now because it's better for them to just be with the rest of the Skuggs, and off they go. So we've hit 3 of my 4 now. I don't think we're going to have an opportunity for number 4, because number 4 is the Shadow Weaver from She-Ra. And I think you've already covered all the permutations of the Christmas He-Man and She-Ra stuff. So
I'm still looking. There might be one more, but if nothing else, I'm sure I'll find a reason. We'll get into it.
Yeah, if nothing else, I figure my end will be in about 20 years when one of your kids take up the mantle and they do like Totally Sigma Christmas, all about the 2010s. And
that's right.
And there's a recent episode of the new She-Ra Princesses of Power series that's kind of Christmassy. They go to a prom at the Snows realm or whatever with the ice castle. And so if you don't find anything, I'll just wait patiently and we'll be good.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is a Halloween episode, and so talking about nightmares is perfect, but it also leads us into this episode. So it's episode 7 from the only season. It was called the Olanga Story, about Professor Olanga, who is the mentor and trainer of Jamie Jaren in the future. And so this aired October 25th, 1986. And so I say let's just dive into this and see what we can come up with.
Let's do it.
All right, so Draxon Drear, the villain, at this point, he's just exasperated with the Jarens and the whole family. He travels with the Skuggs to Africa, and he's going to instead of messing with the Jarens, he's going to mess with Dr. Olanga, or Professor Olanga, however you want to call him. And he's, like I said, the Academy scientist who is basically instrumental in helping Jamie Jaren develop her Starlyte powers and expertise. Drear, by the way, is voiced by Booker Bradshaw. He was one of the writers of the Planet of the Apes series and the Rockford Files. He also, and this is cool, was one of the touring managers of the Supremes and the Temptations.
Yeah, a crazy, accomplished guy to show up here to voice the villain. He, was friends with Joni Mitchell at Harvard. He, was a Carnegie Hall player. He got a full ride scholarship to attend the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts at London. I mean, and then went into the music business, like you said, and became a European tour manager. And then wrote for TV and also voiced Drear for 13 episodes of Lazer Tag.
Which, I mean, like that's a storied career,
Yeah,
that's interesting. But I like it. I think he does a great job voice acting. He's believable as Draxon Drear. But he decides, as he's going to mess with Olanga, he's going to stop the marriage of his ancestors, King Olamun and Queen Sarita. And then that way, Olanga will never be born. And then the Jarens will lose their greatest helper because Olanga contacts them through their star sensors. And so they'll see a projection of him and he'll give them advice, or he's able to track where Drear is gone and he can program their coordinates so that they can be sent to those locations. I mean, he really is like Oracle, from Batman, or, Sam, or not Sam, what's his name? Ziggy from Ziggy and Al.
From Quantum
He's
Leap.
like Ziggy
Yeah.
and Al from
Yeah.
Quantum Leap,
Just as I thought, these are the palace ruins of Olanga's ancient ancestors, King Olamun and Queen Sarita. I'll stop Olamun from becoming king. The marriage will never take place. Olanga will never be born, and the Jarens will lose their greatest helper.
He really is very important to them. So that's his plan. He's going to stop that guy instead, which as a villain makes more sense than erasing your own family tree. I got to say.
Yeah, like I said, and most of them start this way. There's actually a solid plot that just turns into potentially murder and prevent my existence.
Yeah, exactly. Like just existential crisis.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, but there's a guide, like an African boy named Simba who overhears his plans to go to the 13th century. He does try to hawk some wares on him, I love as well, but Drear just has him kind of thrown out. Now, while that's happening in Africa, back in the US, it's Halloween. And we actually get to see the kids' moms and dad in this as well. They're handing out Halloween candy. And I like how Beth and Nikki come out as, I guess they're going as Mr. and Mrs. Dracula.
Trick or treat! My, what scary get-ups. Here, enjoy yourselves. Well, if it isn't Mr. and Mrs. Dracula.
How do we look?
Very frightening. And I love these little lights. It'll help others to see you clearly at night.
But like the only thing they have is kind of what you were talking about, your 13-year-old, with just the big cape and some fangs, and that's like their Dracula costume. Yeah, like no costume per se. It's just a cape and some fangs, and their star sensor across their chest.
Yeah, and you get a little bit there, and this was a frequent plot point throughout the whole series, is that the Jaren's parents are just oblivious to everything going on, and so when they come out, their mom's like, "Oh, you guys look great, and I love these little lights. Those are going to be great, helping others see you clearly while you're walking around trick-or-treating."
That's right. It's like, oh, PSA hidden in there. Yep. They have to get it in. So the mom and dad are played by Tress MacNeille and Frank Welker. So with Frank Welker doing his usual dad voice as well. So I did like that.
I love the fangs. Come, little ones, give your father a farewell bye.
Cute, Dad. Real cute.
But I like, as they're going out to trick or treat, they try to explain to Jamie about Halloween. And she's like, as I mentioned in my intro, I don't get it. People just give you candy for scaring them. And she says they don't have holidays like that, but who gives you free candy is one of the questions that Nikki asks. And she said, the Easter Bunny? And then she doesn't know what that is either. So, she has a nice line about, does the Easter Bunny scare people too? No, he just leaves chocolate.
I still don't understand why people give you candy for scaring them.
It's Halloween. It's a holiday. Don't you have holidays in the future?
Not like this. How do you get free candy? The Easter Bunny? Easter Bunny? It's another holiday. Does the Easter Bunny scare people too? No, he just lays chocolate eggs.
Now, the kids are... So Jamie, the star of the show, is played by Noelle Harling, who just did a couple of things here and there, but nothing that I recognized, honestly.
No, I think Lazer Tag is her biggest, and I'm making air quotes, thing she did. Other than that, it was like single cameos on television shows.
Just on a few shows here and there, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was only through the 80s, and by 89 or 90, she was done and doing whatever she's doing now.
Yeah, and I hope she's enjoying her chosen career. But Tom, who's the older brother, is played by Billy Jane, who I knew as Buddy from just one of the guys, the brother.
You want time to think it over. I understand. I have 2 words for you. Slumber party. We'll invite every girl you know. Tall, short, loose, easy. I'll be the bartender. They can use my bedroom. They can use my body. I want to help.
He was also a young Dar from Beastmaster. So
Yeah, and Mikey from Parker Lewis.
And Mikey from Parker Lewis. That's right. So I knew Tom, I knew Billie Jane pretty well. Beth was Christina McGregor, which again, I didn't really recognize much that she's done. She just did like a few assorted voices here and there on some shows, but nothing, like no particular character that I could tell.
Yeah, same. I tried to look her up too, but she has had a career in movie and film, just not as an actor or a voice actor. So she's had, since the end of the 80s, she's worked in ADR or automated dialogue replacement. So it's the thing in post-production when they're putting together a film or a TV show and they realize the audio is bad in a part and you need to go get the actor to re-record it, or you get a stand-in who sounds like them to re-record it, or you just don't like the phrasing and need to switch it out. And so she's been doing that. She did ADR for The Nightmare Before Christmas, American Beauty, Shrek, and Chronicles of Riddick was on the list. Just a hodgepodge of stuff since then.
Right. And lastly, Nikki, the youngest, is R.J. Williams, who I knew as Tommy from A Chipmunk Christmas. He was also Dink from Dink the Little Dinosaur, and he was Kissy from Kissy.
Boy, I can't believe it's finally here. The big father and son picnic.
So good for him. And then I think he went on to do like production, something like that.
Yeah, I probably knew him best. I didn't know him by name, but from the character Kid, Cloud Kicker on Tailspin. So that was another one that he voiced. But to your point, yeah, he was the main character on Kissy at the age of 8. Like that's that was a decently. It had what, 3 seasons? It ran for a while.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He pivoted and he owns Young Hollywood, which is, I guess, like a digital media platform. I think their claim to fame was they were the first company to do live streaming for YouTube. So they worked with Google. I think actually before Google owned them, they worked with YouTube for a live streaming event that was going to run on the platform, and then have since partnered with Google, and they're kind of a promotion arm, I guess, for promoting other content creators and drumming up excitement about them. And then they do like social media outreach and stuff like that for, all your big Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, your big companies, that need help with their social media. They do that.
So that's our cast. Now, finally, we get Professor Olanga, who tells them that
Drear is in the ancient ruins at Tabat.
Great. He's on vacation.
Drear doesn't take vacations. He's up to no good.
Tabat's in Africa.
Wait, let me guess. We're going there.
You got it. But what about trick-or-treating and all the candy? Don't worry. The Easter Bunny will lay you some chocolate eggs or something.
Even though it's Halloween and it's nighttime, they're going to fly to Africa. Now, that's Sid McCoy, who, looks like I forgot to write stuff down for. So there's that.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot. I think, just same thing, bit parts on television shows. Right. I think the biggest thing he had is he wasn't the host, but he was the narration voice for Soul Train for like the original run of it that came on.
Oh, wow.
But that's there was nothing else I recognized out of the list on there.
Yeah, same. So in Africa, they meet Simba as he's charming snakes with his sham. I mean, it looks like a sham. I don't know if it's actually a sham. And at first, he's scared of the kids because they're in their vampire costumes. They have their fake fangs, and then they have to take them out just to prove that it's just a costume. And this is in that period of the 80s where things were still
not as culturally sensitive as you might want them to be. And yeah.
Right. Not quite as politically correct, I suppose. So yeah, he's not the best character. He's definitely a caricature of an African boy at this time. So I'll say, but he's a guide. He knows his way around the city, so he can show them the ruins that they believe Drear to be. So they contact Professor Olanga, who attempts to translate this writing, but the best that he could deduce is that he went to Ancient Tabat, which is in Western Africa, and something about a king and a queen, and that's kind of where his attempts stop.
Yeah, and I think maybe I just wasn't paying as much attention as I should have, but it seems like Tabat kind of morphs between a city, a kingdom, and like a country at different points, depending
That's
on
right.
depending on how they're using it.
Yeah, pretty much. All they know is that it's the 13th century, so they're
Yeah.
going to go to the 13th century. Yeah. And yes, you're right. I couldn't tell if it was just the kingdom or if it was like a whole region or if it was like a city state or what. Yeah. So meanwhile, while this is happening and they start shooting their guns to transport them, Simba takes Ralphie the dog's star sensor and ends up getting transported back in time with them, which thank goodness he does because he saves their lives like twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for him. Spoiler alert. But I like how they get there and they're immediately ambushed.
Yeah. So
Like they arrive at the exact spot that Drear's at, and he sees they don't have the dog, and bam, ambush.
Where's Ralphie? Ralphie!
The mutt isn't here.
Drear!
Get them!
So you may disagree, Jerry, but
Okay.
even by 80s cartoon standards, this wasn't a tight ship. Like this
No,
cartoon.
it really wasn't. Yeah.
So it's not just this episode, but several of the other ones too, because I've gone back and watched the full ones, not the edited for VHS ones.
Oh, right.
Because when they edit them for VHS, you cut out whole scenes and continuity and stuff like that. But even the full episodes, it like drops you into the middle of a conversation that's already happening. So I feel like the scripts were a lot longer. And someone just went through with like a pen and was like, well, that's not going to fit in 22 minutes. So we're going to take out the whole scene. Yep. Yeah. We're just going to take out the whole scene where Drear is, getting his crew together in the 13th century, and he'll just be waiting behind that tree when the Jarens show up, and we'll just jump in there.
And that's exactly what happens. And he's like, no dog.
Yep.
And so he has the Skuggs grab them and bury them. Bury them up to their necks in sand. Yeah.
Yeah. He gets the jump on them. Yeah, makes a comment about the dog not being there.
Right.
Which seems odd too. And and then has them all disarmed and buried in the sand.
Yeah. So buried so that the wild jackals will eat them, essentially.
Yeah, so here's where I have the rub with that plot is he's taken their guns and he's buried them to their necks. All he has to do is leave. He doesn't need to carry out the rest of this plot. He can just go back to his normal home time, and they're going to get eaten by wild jackals, and he succeeded. But he decides he still needs to carry out his stop the marriage plot anyway, because that's the important thing to do right now.
Because that's the name of the title.
Right, yeah.
The title
that's
of the episode.
What the script says. We got to keep going.
Exactly. But you're right. He could have just vamoosed and it would have been fine. But as luck would have it, the Skuggs accidentally dropped their Starlights, the Starlights that they captured as the kids, while fighting each other to mount their camel. Like they're trying to decide who's going to ride up shotgun, I guess. And Simba, who thinks they're all great magicians, by the way, because of course he does, digs Jamie out. And after trying and failing to use the Starlight, he gives it to her and she's able to get him out of there. But I did like, there's a cool bit where he has the star sensor from Ralphie and he uses it to reflect the sun's light into the eyes of the jackal. So I thought that was kind of clever.
So this is again where we run into maybe didn't spend as many dollars as you could on production, because that whole scene too, he's trying to dig them out as the jackals are coming. And you get a quick cut where he's got them dug down to like their chest. Like they're almost down to waist out of the sand. In like the 10 seconds he was digging, he's managed to get 3 humans, almost out of the sand. Then he has to peel off to go, save the guns and stuff and, reflect the light at the jackals. And then when he comes back, Jamie is reburied back up to her shoulder because now she can just get her arm, just barely out to and this is where we find out that Starlight powers apply to living things, just not humans, because
just not humans, right?
Yeah, because she's able to shoot the jackals into a tornado that picks them all up and throws them across the desert.
Save me, oh great ones! Quick, Simba, give me the Starlight.
Nice move.
Right. She creates like a dust devil and it takes the jackals away, and all right, we're done with that plot. Next. And so Simba swipes a carpet, which they turn into a flying carpet, and they fly to the palace of Tabat.
Yeah, and again, there had to be some conversation that we as the viewers missed, because as soon as the jackals are gone, Simba is raiding a tent for a carpet.
Right.
Which he doesn't know they can turn into a flying carpet, but just decides the thing to do is to unroll a carpet out on the sand and see what happens.
And I guess it's because he thinks they're magicians. Maybe they can get it done. I don't know. But while all this is happening and they're escaping, Drear is at the palace and he's conspiring with Prince Olemon's twin brother, because of course it's a twin brother. And how do we know he's evil? Because he's got the goatee, like Mirror Universe style. So...
otherwise identical twin, except for the evil facial hair.
From now on, I'm Evil Abed. We're the Evil Study Group, and we have but one evil goal. Return somehow to the prime timeline, the one that I stopped you from rolling that die. Then we destroy the good versions of ourselves and reclaim our proper lives.
Evil Abed. As Evil GF, am I allowed to pull fewer punches with you?
Certainly.
I hate you! Shut up with your sci-fi crap! I lost my damn arm, and you're making fake beards!
And they're going to pull the old switcheroo, and he's going to take the place of the prince, marry the princess, become king and queen, and we're done with the Olangas. That's it. Yep. But again, forget about the butterfly effect or anything like that. It's pretty much just, I'm going to do what I want and hope this works for the best. Like, I'm just winging it. Yep. That's pretty much what he's doing.
Just winging it. Yep.
Don't panic. Remember the advice your father gave you on your wedding day.
If you ever travel back in time, don't step on anything, because even the tiniest change can alter the future in ways you can't imagine.
So luckily, because Simba is from the area, he said he's played in those ruins so often that he knows them like the back of his hand, and he's able to lead them to the palace. And while that's happening, Drear is presented to Olomon by Yazi that he says he's a magician from the east. And so they lay out a carpet he's going to show him that it's a magic carpet. And he tells him to walk on it, to just go stand on it. And then he zaps it and it rolls up and captures him. And the Skuggs take it away. Bada bing, bada boom. We're done.
I love this scene for a couple reasons. One, Olomon asks, what are those things to the Skuggs? And I felt this one completely, because he says they look like one of my nightmares, which
he does say that.
Was very,
yes.
And then I love when they unroll the carpet. Olomon also says, this is the most beautiful carpet I've ever seen. And the carpet is literally a blue carpet with a lighter blue diamond in the middle of it. And
he just loves blue, man.
You're the prince of Tabat. You have had to have seen a better looking carpet than that. But nope, that's the most beautiful carpet he's ever seen. And like you said, he agrees to just go sit down on it and see what happens.
And he gets rolled up.
Yeah, because the Starlights can also roll up a carpet.
They can. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's almost like telekinesis in a way, except like that's what channels it or something. I don't know. But so the Jarens intercept the guards. They subdue them, and it looks like they're going to win until more guards flank them and capture them and toss them into the dungeons.
Looks like we got that problem covered. Throw them in the dungeon.
So they take their Starlights away, and Simba tries to bribe the guards with watches, which I love, magic time devices.
Yeah, with like a digital watch, like a Casio.
Yeah. Hey, in the 13th century, that'd be something.
Yep.
Although the numbers, I don't think would mean anything.
Right, yeah. I'm pretty sure they didn't use the same. Yeah.
But okay, whatever. But really, he just kind of used that as an excuse to swipe their Starlights, and he gets thrown in dungeon with them, but now they have the Starlights, and so they're able to escape. I do like at this part, he calls them their magic lamps.
Yeah.
So really leaning heavily into Arabian Nights and all that. He also brings them info because he overheard where Drear has taken Prince Olomon.
And I have brought information also. I know where Drear has taken Prince Olomon.
Prince Olomon? That's Olanga's ancestor.
Drear and the Skuggs have kidnapped His Highness.
How'd you know?
These ears heard Drear talking to the prince's twin brother, Yazi. Prince Olomon has a twin? An identical twin. And tomorrow he will be crowned king.
If that happens, Princess Sarita will marry Yazi instead of Olomon.
And guess what? Olanga will never be born.
won't be around to lead the Lazer Tag Academy or help us fight Drear.
They took the prince to Yazi's desert fortress.
Simba for the win. Like, this is,
Oh, yeah.
he's 2 for 2 already.
Yep. Yeah, and of course, where he's taken Olamon is Yazi's desert fortress, because every villain has a desert fortress. So we're right on point there, too.
Right. And it makes me wonder, like, how would his brother not know he has a desert fortress?
Yeah,
Or
eventually when we see it, it's big. That took some laborers, that took some resources.
Right.
Not a sandcastle. That took some effort to build.
Or is he just calling it a fortress and maybe it's like his own little summer home or something?
Yeah.
And so yeah, the twin Yazi hopes to be crowned and marry the princess. Luckily, though, Simba went to Boy Scout camp in that area, and so he knows that whole fortress as well. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Well, the forced comedy bit that, I went to Boy Scout camp near the ruins, and you get Tom with I guess Boy Scouts really are everywhere.
And so they hop on another carpet, or their carpet from earlier, and they fly away. So they realize they can't approach from the air because Drear might see them and hurt the prince or retaliate in some way. So they're going to go by foot, and Tom decides, because there's a lot of guards, he's going to hold them off and distract them while the others go rescue Olamon.
Yeah, are you saving this Tom quote possibly for the end so I don't ruin it?
No, you can say it. I have.
I can say it.
Yeah, I have 2 other quotes. So go for it.
So Tom. I mean, throw a dart. Anytime this character says anything, it is just ridiculous. So
yeah,
he does his best. The man who shot Liberty Valance here, and gets this like fake cowboy accent and goes, "Well then, pilgrims, I guess I'm going to have to stay here and hold off the guards while you head for the fortress." And just leaves that hanging there.
Which, by the way, how weird is it that this is the second show in a row where they say the word pilgrims in it?
Yeah, right? Yeah, we're 2 for 2 now.
That's right. So inside the building, Drear Man in the Iron masks Olamon. Yeah. Like literally, he just, with the Starlyte, of course, he covers him with the mask, and that's it. Lights out Prince.
Yep.
So the kids surprise him, but he just happens to know the plans of this whole fortress because he pulls a lever and they fall through a trap door into a snake pit.
Yeah, perfect 80s villain. Kids get the drop on him, and there is a 3-foot-long lever right at his side that, of course, opens a trap door right under where the kids are standing. He planned it perfectly.
Yep, couldn't have done it any better.
Enjoy the mask. You're going to be in it for the rest of your life.
Don't count on that, Drear.
Jaren!
Jamie!
I hope you find Yazi's pets amusing.
It's just a cobra-infested pit, but as we saw earlier with Chekhov's sham, we have Simba charming them with his sham as Jamie retrieves the Starlights and then blasts the wall open.
Allow me! Hey, look at the snake!
They're all hypnotized! Keep playing, Simba. I'm making my move.
Easy.
Watch it! That one's not a music lover. Maybe he'll listen to this. I got it!
The wall! Sorry, old poisonous ones. Show's over.
Simba does get an assist from Beth because there's one cobra that's not quite fallen for the music, and so she does some clapping and distracts him. Yeah. So, they're a rock group. After this, they're going to form their own little, like Jethro Tull style group.
That's true. Yeah, I love here too that they literally blast a hole in the wall and it throws rubble. And I don't know as if it's just the possessor's mental state at the time they shoot, because half the time it just evaporates the matter, and the other half of the time it just blows a hole in something. But this time it was blow the hole.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what the powers of this thing are, but I'm digging it and I want it. It's cool. While all this is happening, Tom is distracting the guards, luckily, and he drops, were they coconuts or?
I'm
I don't know
guessing
if
he like
yeah,
like breaks them into pebbles or something and drops them on them all and
drops them on their heads. Yeah, because he's a good guy. He's a kid. He doesn't want to kill anybody, so
yeah.
he just tries to mess with them. But he also then like shoots the water and tries to like avalanche or not avalanche, tidal wave
Tidal
them.
waves them out of the oasis. Yeah.
Exactly. But as they're ganging up on him and about to overtake him, Professor Olanga just happens to appear and materializes, of course, his. I mean, it's not really. Is it a hologram? I don't know if it's a hologram or. But it seems like some sort of projection, very much like "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my
Yeah.
only hope."
Definitely.
Yeah. So either way, he materializes from Tom's starsensor, and the guards who think that he's a spirit cower and obey him because he's also wearing that amulet medallion of his ancestor, Prince Olamon.
Look, the spirit wears the sacred star of Tabat.
This boy is not your enemy. You must trust him. Prince Solomon is in grave danger.
It's like, oh, great spirit, we'll obey you, and it's just like, oof. It's not doesn't hold up well.
No.
So Jamie, they rescue Olamon. They zap his mask away, and Nikki wants to keep the mask, which I do love.
Yeah.
Can I have this?
I don't know why he wants it, but cool, yeah. It's a dangerous mask that prevents you from eating and breathing and speaking and seeing and hearing and smelling and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that he gets his mask off and he says, "How can I ever repay you?" And they run him through what they're doing and say, "So really all you have to do is marry Princess Sarita and we're all good." And so you get your next, like slapstick moment of him, kind of shrugging and, "Oh, is that all I have to do is get married and we're all good?"
That's what he was going to do anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. Now Yazi, the Jarens, of course, split out of there. Yazi's about to be crowned back at the palace when the Jarens show up, and while the Skuggs try to attack, they actually avoid them. They manage to avoid them. And Simba, in order to stall for time while this whole thing is going on, swipes the crown. And Olamon appears and commands all the guards to stand down, but they don't really believe him. They think he might be Yazi. And of course, this is where we get the whole, "No, I'm Olamon. No, I'm Olamon." And it's, classic switcheroo farce.
Yes.
They believe Yazi's the real prince because he's actually wearing that sacred star of Tabat medallion. Until Olanga's holographic projection again appears and tells him, "No, that's the real Olamon."
Hold it! You're about to king the wrong checker.
What proof do you have?
Catch this, Jack.
Oh! Look, the spirit wears the sacred star.
All right, Tom.
This is Solomon.
Why wouldn't you believe the spirit?
Yeah, and I love that, according to the Grand Vizier, the deciding factor of who is the real Olamon is whoever's wearing this necklace. And that was all, that was good enough, right? But then a hologram shows up and tells you you're wrong, and all right, guess we trust the hologram now.
That's right. Well, he's wearing the necklace, right?
Yeah.
The
hologram's wearing the necklace, yeah.
So he must be a spirit of great importance, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. He switches like on a dime. It's great. He's wearing the star, but because he's the spirit, they believe him, like we said. And the guard sees Yazi, and Drear flees. And while the Jarens follow him, they're just too late. He escapes with the Skuggs. And so Olamon and Sarita get married. Well, they're about to get married. They give the Jarens a sacred scroll, which has like the history of their whole, like their kingdom. So that's like a gift.
Yeah, and again, we drop into the middle of a conversation with Olamon like lamenting that he's got to banish his brother because, he's evil and we just got to do it. And, Nikki's asking to keep the mask again and he's letting him have it. And yep.
Yeah, so he's going to banish his brother, of course. And so, because you can't kill him, right? But he's banished. And it's just funny because he's a twin. Like, how are you going to prevent this from happening again?
Right, yeah.
Like, oh, well. But yeah, so they go back to the present and they find Ralphie, who's still there, luckily. And they give the scroll to Simba because all history is valuable. And that's Academy lesson number 1.
Yeah.
And they hope they can get back in time.
Yep, not lesson number 28, definitely lesson 1.
Right.
And they have you have an Indiana Jones moment there too, where they're having that conversation, and Beth yells out,
yes.
that scroll should be in a museum.
It belongs in a museum.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great. But like, then they just hope they can get back in time for Halloween, which makes me wonder how long were they there?
Yeah. And so,
I mean, if they could travel through time, I guess they could appear right back at the moment that they left.
Yeah. So this is one of those, 80s cartoon, we're just lenient with the rules thing, because sometimes time keeps ticking, like while things are going, right? So when they come back to their time, a day has passed or whatever, and sometimes no time has passed. And so, I don't know, I guess Olanga's just programming it correctly when he sends them around or something.
I guess so. And
yeah.
I mean, if I were them, I'd be like, hey, send us back to that night so that our parents don't get suspicious.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, or we don't leave our dog in Tibet for 2 days or whatever while we're...
That's right. So that he's still alive and still in the same place. Yeah.
Here, Simba, the scroll belongs to your people. This is very valuable. All history is valuable.
What's that? Academy lesson number 28?
No, number 1. That scroll should be in a museum.
Come on, let's go home and catch the rest of Halloween.
Yeah, I want to try out my new math.
Okay, I do have a question. If you could be in the Lazer Tag Academy, who would you be? Like in this episode, or just in general?
I mean, it's got to be Jamie, right? It's
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I think they introduce a couple other Academy characters, throughout the series, but yeah, she's really the only main one from 3010, so it's going to be her.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to be Tom either.
No, Tom is. Yeah. So, yeah, Tom, all the episodes are like this too. Tom is just like, I don't know, just walking one-liners. I think it'd be fun for a day or so, but I would just get tired.
You get it. Yeah, for real. I think Simba comes out smelling like roses in this. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Minus the depiction of the character himself. Yeah, he was all-star of the episode.
He saves the day twice or 3 times if you count stealing the crown. So. Yeah, good for him. What would you say, though, is your happiest like memory or moment with Lazer Tag?
So my happiest moment with Lazer Tag, the product, is the first time I realized you could turn the gun over and there's a little switch on the bottom that turns it from single to spray mode. And then you don't even have to like aim at what you're aiming at. It shoots like, I don't know if there's a mirror or something in there, but it will like shoot 3 different directions and you're unstoppable at that point. With the series Lazer Tag Academy, it was just watching more episodes because, like I said, I've only seen, I think, 5 between the 2 VHSs we had. So there was another 8 of them out there. My math works. 5, 8, 13. Yep, we're on track. Yeah. So and like I said, this is I will put out my personal opinion that it's not a great show by 80s cartoon standards.
No.
It's not the best from Ruby Spears. They had much better shows than this one, but it's a fun romp, and it allowed me to continue my Totally Rad Nightmare tour. So that's exciting also.
We'll squeeze number 4 in there somehow. I'll find a way. But no, that is pretty funny. I think for me, it was going over to my friend's house, Richard Fryer, who had it. And I mean, he just had tons of stuff. His grandparents were pretty well off. And so he would get cool toys. He's the one that had the flag. I mean, it was awesome. So I just remember playing that. The cartoon I really don't remember much of except that it was on. So I think I have to use the so it sounds like a cop-out, but it's really not. It would have to be this conversation right now. So but now we come to my favorite part of the show, which is a little segment I call Gag Me with the Spoon, where we do our best impression of our least favorite part of this episode. As a guest, I'll let you go first. Just kind of set up the scene for us.
Oh gosh. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different Tom quotes because, like I said earlier, pick any time he opens his mouth and it is just a cringy one-liner. So I'll throw one out there and then, we can go back and forth until we run out of them here because
well, I only wrote down 2. So
you only wrote down 2? Okay. Well, I've got a few. So
okay, go for it.
My first one is, this is in the throne room and they're about to crown Yazi king. And Tom runs in and goes, "You're about to king the wrong checker." Then he goes, "Catch this, Jack," and holds up his star sensor to show Olanga through it. And,
That's a bad one. Yeah.
yeah, king the wrong checker and catch this, Jack.
So my first one that I was hoping you wouldn't pick was by Simba. Because as we mentioned, yes, he's an all-star. He saves the day. He's like MVP of this episode, but also it's a terrible depiction, very stereotypical. And so this is after he's charmed the cobras, and he says, "Sorry, oh poisonous ones, show's over." Oh, poisonous ones? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. We already talked about the Pilgrim one. We talked about Boy Scouts. Oh, I've got when they are buried and and Drear has left. They don't know Simba's there yet, and the jackals are approaching them. And so a running gag through the whole series is the Lazer Tag Academy guidebook, because that's like the tome that Jamie uses to, live by. It's
right,
like the ethics book. And so they always make jokes about, what does the guidebook say? And so Tom turns to Jamie and says, "Hey, Jamie, what's the Lazer Tag Academy guidebook say about vicious jackals coming to eat your face?" And Jamie's reply is, "There are no vicious animals in the future."
That's right. Okay, we get it. Utopia.
Yep.
But like all animals are just not vicious anymore?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's part of the utopian society is no more vicious animals.
Wow, that's pretty cool. My second one that I had picked was a Nikki line. This one was early on, and just because I was like, "What?" So this is after they talk about, people just scare you, for Halloween, and they give you candy, and he says it's a holiday. She says they don't have any like that, and then Nikki says, "Well, how do you get free candy? The Easter Bunny?" I was like, "Okay, all right, I get it."
I'll go with one more. So this is right before the jackal conversation, and this is as Drear's taking off and telling them they're about to be eaten by jackals, and Tom just screams out, "I hope your camel runs out of water," which is
That's right.
just
He does say
nonsensical.
that.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I don't,
what does that mean? Yeah. Oh man, but G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you think the other half is?
So I think this might be the easiest answer in the world, because it just leans into the already established meme that the other half is lasers, right? Except you got to spell it with a Z.
That's right. Lasers. That's great.
Or just remembering you got to follow the Lazer Tag Academy guidebook. That would be my second one.
See, those are both better than mine. I just thought it was just having a carpet that you can fly around on.
Oh, that's good too.
Kevin, this has been a lot of fun. Tell me about Tis a Soundtrack or anything else you want to plug.
Yeah, so apologize to all your listeners that have to hear me do this over and over again. But
no, that's all right.
It's a podcast. We talk about Christmas music, so the soundtracks to movies, television, songs from Christmas commercials, and songs that play at Christmas places, like the Christmas time music at the various Disney parks. And we have episodes like the one you came on and recorded with me, where guests build their own Christmas soundtracks, and we talk about that. So
that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
So, I know this is a Halloween episode, so I'm not sure what's going to come out between now and then, but the last episode that we released was Jeff from the Lost Christmas podcast and myself. We sat down, and as Warped Tour fans from the early 2000s, we'd built our own soundtrack of Christmas music by this year's Warped Tour artists and spent an hour and a half talking through that.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got a couple Christmas album episodes in the hopper, and another episode or two on the music at the Disney parks.
Right on. Very exciting. And I hope I'll have you back on to talk some more music and soundtracks as well. So
yeah,
I promise not to go too deep into music theory that next time.
So it is fun, because where else are you going to get to go? Where else are you going to spend an hour, maybe 2 hours, talking about something you really like? And you come away feeling smarter than when you started. I just sit down and listen, and I learn all kinds of things.
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm going too far into the weeds, but also I don't get to geek out about it that often. So I really try to enjoy that. But thanks again. This was a blast. Go listen to Tis the Soundtrack. It's so fun. I had a whole episode where I was a guest and we talked about the 80s, some cool 80s music. It was great. And yeah, it's fantastic. So make sure you check it out. Thank you. And I will end it with, Come on, let's go home and catch the rest of Halloween. So check us out on our social media pages, which you can find at linktree.com/totallyradchristmas. And if you're feeling like Olamon removing his mask, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com. Come, little ones, give your father a farewell bite. Later, dudes.